Okay, Wildcats, here we're on page 41, solving equations by factoring ax squared plus bx plus c. Example 1, factor the quadratic by checking factor pairs. Okay, so first term, last term, these need to combine to be 11x. Okay, well, to get 10x squared, we're going to multiply 10x by 1x. And the only way to get positive 1 is if we have a plus 1 and plus 1 here. Okay, so let's make sure this works. 1x times 1 is 1x. 1 times 10 is 10x. 10 and 1 combined to be 11x. So your factors are 10x plus 1 times x plus 1. All right, go ahead and finish up example 1. All right, example 2. Factor the quadratic by checking factor pairs. Now, first thing you want to do is divide all of these terms by 3. So that becomes 3 times 3x squared plus 13x plus 10. So we know our final answer is going to have a 3 in front. But now our first term is 3x squared and last term is 10. Okay, these middle need to combine to be 13x. Now, the only way to get 3x squared is 3x and 1x. And one way to get 10 is a plus 10 and a plus 1. Now, let's see, make sure this works. 1x times 3 is 3x squared. 1x times 10 is 10x. 1 times 3 is 3x. 1 times 10 is 10. 3x and 10x combine to be 13x. So our factors are 3 times 3x plus 10 times x plus 1. All right, go and finish up example 2. All right, example 3. Factor the quadratic by checking factor pairs. Okay, so first term 4x squared. Last term positive 3. All right, in order to get 4x squared, that's 4x and 1x. Now, the middle number needs to be a negative 7x. That means that in order to get a positive number here and a negative here, we have to multiply by a negative 3 and a negative 1. 1x times 4 is 4x squared. 1x times negative 3 is negative 3x. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4x. Negative 4 and negative 3 combined to be negative 6. Negative 1 times negative 3 is a positive 3. So our factors are 4x minus 3 times x minus 1. All right, go and finish up example 3. All right, example 4. Factor the quadratic by checking factor pairs. Okay, first off, we can divide all of these numbers by 2. And I actually think we might be even able to go further. So 2 works, but we can actually go bigger. We can actually divide by 4. Okay. Now, 24 divided by 4, that means we're factoring out of 4. That's 6x squared minus 11x plus 3. Okay, that means our final answer will have a 4 in the front. So first term, 6x squared. Last term, positive 3. These combine to be negative 11x. Now, in order to get 6x squared, we can multiply by 3x and 2x. In order to get a positive 3 and the middle terms be negative, we're going to multiply by negative 1 and a negative 3. Let's make sure this works. 2x times 3 is 6x squared. 2x times 1 is negative 2x. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. These combine to be negative 11x. So our factors are 4 times 3x minus 1 times 2x minus 3. All right, go ahead and finish up example 4. All right, example 7. All right, solve the following quadratic equation. All right, so we know 2 parentheses equals 0. Now, in order to get 5x squared, we can multiply by a 5x and a 1x. And in order to get a positive 4, let's try multiplying by a plus 2 plus 2. Now, we probably want to make sure that this multiplies to become this. So 5x times 1 is 5x squared. 5x times 2 is plus 10x. 2 times 1 is plus 2x. 2 times 2 is plus 4 equal to 0, which is 5x squared plus 12x plus 4 equal to 0. This matches that. So we know that 5x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 0 is your solution. So now we set those equal to 0. 5x plus 2 equal to 0. X plus 2 equal to 0. Subtract 2 from both sides. You get 5x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 5. X equals negative 2/5. Okay, subtract 2 from both sides. X equals negative 2. All right, go and finish up example 7. All right, let's take a look at example 8. Solve the following quadratic equation. All right, we can actually start off by dividing everything by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4x squared. 63 divided by 3 is minus 21x. And then 15 divided by 3 is plus 5 equal to 0. So 2 parentheses. Now, to get 4x squared, we're going to multiply 4x times 1x. And in order to get a positive 5 combined to be negative here, we're going to multiply by a negative 1 and a negative 5. Now, we need to make sure that this multiplies to be this. So let's check. 4x times 1x is 4x squared. 4x times 5 is negative 20x. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times negative 5 is a positive 5 equal to 0. So then that's 4x squared minus 21x plus 5 equal to 0. These match, meaning the factors work. So we have 4x minus 1 times x minus 5 equal to 0. So that's 4x minus 1 equal to 0 and x minus 5 equal to 0. Add 1 to both sides. You get 4x equals 1. Divide both sides by 4. This divides becomes 1, so x equals 1/4. Add 5 to both sides. X equals 5. All right, go and finish up example 8. All right. Example 10. Solve the following quadratic equation. Now, before you can solve, we need everything on the left side. So we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. And we're going to add 10 to both sides. So then you have 6x squared plus 16x plus 8. That's 0, equal to 0. Now, we can actually divide every one of these by 2. So 6x squared divided by 2 is 3x squared. That's plus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. Now, two parentheses. Now, to get 3x squared, that's 3x times 1x. All right, and to get 4, let's do plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so let's make sure this works. 3x times, that's 3x squared. 3x times 2 is plus 6x. 2 times 1 is plus 2x. 2 times 2 is plus 4 equal to 0. So that's 3x squared plus 8x plus 4 equal to 0. This matches that, so that means that 3x plus 2 times x plus 2 equals 0 is correct. So then we set them equal to 0. 3x plus 2 equal to 0. X plus 2 equal to 0. Subtract 2 from both sides. You get 3x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 3. That divides becomes 1. So x equals negative 2/3. Subtract 2 from both sides. X equals negative 2. All right, go and finish up example 10. All right, let's take a look at the last example. Oh, I'm sorry, second to last example. We've got 2 more to go. All right, read the real-world situation, substitute in values for the projectile motion formula. Then solve the resulting quadratic equation by factoring to answer the question. A golfer takes a swing from a hill 20 feet above the cup with an initial upward velocity of 32 feet per second. How long does it take the ball to land on the ground near the cup? Okay, step 1. The height of the projectile at a time in seconds can be found by using the formula h equals negative 16t squared plus vt plus s, where v is the initial velocity upwards in feet per second and can be a negative number if the projectile is launched downward, and s is the starting height in feet. Find that parameters v and s from the description in the problem. So v is 32 and s is 20. So we're going to substitute these numbers into the formula. So we have negative 16t squared plus 32t plus 20 equal to 0. Okay. Now we're going to solve this by setting it equal to 0. Okay. So now in order to get 4t squared, that's 2t and 2t. In order to get negative 5, that we're going to multiply by plus 1 minus 5. Now, we can come over and check to make sure this works. I'm going to draw a little box over here. First term, 4t squared. Last term, negative 5. And they need to combine to be negative 8t. Okay, well, 2t, 2t. And let's try plus 1 minus 5. All right, let's make sure this works. 2t times 2t is 4t squared. 2t times 1 is 2t. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10t. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. 4t squared, this combines to be negative 8t, so this works. So we can set these equal to 0 and solve. So we subtract 1 from both sides. You get 2t equals negative 1. Divide both sides by 2. That divides and becomes 1, so t equals negative 1/2. Add 5 to both sides. You get 2t equals 5. Divide both sides by 2. So t equals 5 divided by 2. Now, it says the only correct solution for the first time it takes for the ball to land is 2.5 seconds. To go from 5.5 to 2.5 is you use basic fractions. So we do 2 divided into 5. 2 divided into 5 goes into 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract, the remainder is 1. So we write this as 2 plus 1 divided by 2. All right, go and finish up that example. All right, let's take a look at the last example. A basketball player shoots at the basket from a starting height of 6 feet and an upwards velocity of 24 feet per second. Determine how long it takes for the shot to drop through the basket, which is mounted at a height of 14 feet. So step 1, find the perimeters V, S, and H from this question. Okay, so V is the initial velocity, which is 24. So S is 6, and height is 14. Okay, so now we substitute these values into the equation. So that's negative 16t squared plus 24t plus 6 equals 14. Okay, so we're going to solve negative 16t squared plus 24t plus 6 equals 14. Now the first thing we do is subtract 14 from both sides. So then you get negative 16t squared plus 24t minus 8 equals 0. Now we can divide everything by negative 8. So then that's 2t squared minus 3t plus 1 equal to 0. Now 2 parentheses. Now the only way to get 2t squared is 2t and 1t. And the only way to get a positive 1 and a negative here is minus 1, minus 1. So let's make sure that this works. So first term is 2t squared. Last term is 1. So 2t, 1t. This needs to combine to be negative 3t. So negative 1, negative 1. So that's negative 2t, negative 1t. That combines to be negative 3t. So this checks. So we set 2t minus 1 equal to 0 and t minus 1 equal to 0. So we add 1 to both sides. So 2t equals 1. Divide both sides by 2. T equals 1/2. Add 1 to both sides. T equals 1. All right. The solution to the equation are the times at which the basketball is at the same height as the basket. The basketball must go up past the height of the basket before coming back down, and both times are positive after the player shoots. The earlier time is when the ball passes the basket's height, traveling upward, and then the later time is when it drops through the hoop. Therefore, the correct answer is 1 second. All right, go and finish up your assignment. Or I'm sorry, go and finish up your assignment or your examples. Start working on your assignment and have a wonderful Wildcat day.